All right. So, Achilles, you're standing on the dock. You're hearing this high, buzzing, happy sound coming from 317 and the other ships on the dock. And those of you inside just heard 317 declare that the treasure is here.
Oh, baby!
I will get on the comms and let Achilles know. 317 has indicated that treasure is located here.
I just walk back in and just kind of yell through the ship. All of the Mercuries are freaking out here.
We're in business, boys.
They are happy. They're happy for me.
Where is it?
It is up, they said. But I'm not feeling it. Then, there's, this loud, pulse. A little less damaging than, a sonic boom, but it's radiating from 317. And partly you would know this is, long-range communication for Mercury ships. If they're trying to, reach out to a specific ship somewhere else, it's sort of like how elephants have those, low tones that can, travel for, miles and miles and miles to communicate with each other. It's that sort of thing. So separate than, the buzzing you heard before, this is, more just, a pulse or a tone meant to try and see if it gets any, responses back.
Oh, I hate when he does that. It makes my guts feel weird.
317, are you getting any response from your long-range communication?
No, but they say treasure's here. There's not a lot of emotion in 317, but there's definitely this kind of crestfallen, not comprehending tone in a way.
Treasure is valuable and oftentimes highly sought after. It is very possible that something has been placed to block sensors from detecting it.
Yeah, they're hiding. And I'm just marching to my quarters, and I'm getting my gun belt out, making sure my pistol is loaded, getting my like a longer denim coat to just cover everything, and I give them both a look. They said go up, so I'm going to go up.
317, if you would like to give me part of your consciousness, you may see through my eyes as we traverse to see if we can find treasure.
Oh, yes. Yes. And 317 seems befuddled and confused and just upset, strangely upset. You've heard them be snippy before, and they're kind of moody sometimes, or really fascinated by things sometimes, and they'll ask a lot of questions. But this is the first time you've heard them sad sounding in a way. The treasure may be inside. That may be why I can't hear it.
Well, it wouldn't be hidden treasure if it was easy to find.
Yeah, and one of the little ladybugs comes off of my shoulder and touches the wall. And then, there's just a little bit of transference, and it comes back and sits on my shoulder, moving around now instead of being a solid shoulder blade.
I hug my seat.
No.
Don't worry, honey. We're going to find it.
Okay, and then the voice this time comes from the little ladybug shape thing. Okay, this sounds wonderful. Let's find treasure.
Yeah. Let's go.
Oh, geez. And I'll lead the way out.
What section of the station do you want to head to? Are you heading to the more populated area that has the mall and stuff like that? The more luxurious areas of the space station? Are you looking for the more working areas of the station?
I mean, whatever's up, I guess, the next level from where we are.
You're kind of a little bit if there's a center point, you're just slightly below there. So above you, right where you are, it's a little bit more, honestly, residential type areas, where a lot of apartment type setups are inside the station. Right above that would be, the mall and the commerce section, the famous tourist trap type things where people flying through would spend their money, their hard-earned gains, shore leave type areas. And then above that is more the utility where they have the freight areas, places for ship repair, things like that. So there's a lot of above you.
Can I try to get into the system a little bit and see what areas are higher security, or if there's any spots where it's silent or black here, no data is going in or anything?
Yeah, absolutely. So to do that, you would roll access knowledge. So if you go up to a panel or something in the wall, now are you looking to hack in, or are you just looking for information that's someone who knows how to use the operating system would be able to find?
Boy, I think I would start there.
Okay.
Because there might be more like dead zones, but I feel like they would be within already existing ones. Like it seems like it would be super hard to hide a dead zone as an active zone, if that makes sense. Yeah.
All right. So you're going to use knowledge or logic to overcome an obstacle, which is what you're doing. Roll plus brains.
7.
7 to 9. You succeed, but something goes wrong. So you explain what happens, and you give one crewmate a +1 on their next action, and another crewmate a -1 on their next action.
So I think that as I am accessing this panel, like data starts to come up, but then an iris opens as if someone's checking to see who's accessing this panel. And I since Achilles was leading the way, I think he happens to be the face standing in front of the iris when it opens, so he gets a -1. And Blitz gets the information from the screen as I'm trying to shut everything back down, so they get the +1.
Okay, great. You're able to see what areas of the station are more in lockdown or kind of off the grid, as it were, and where things might be hiding, where people might be hiding, definitely like the high security areas. And yeah, so Blitz sees everything that she needs to see, and Achilles is now like in the database on this station, and people now know that he's here.
Cool.
I'm sure that'll be fine.
Yep. I just look sort of at the camera situation, the panel, look at the both of them, say, you just keep looking at this for a minute. And I'm going to just backtrack a little bit and see if there's any sort of, dock workers or like, somebody that's like checking people in, or just, any of the stay at the station type of folks working the area where we've, docked.
Absolutely. There are people like all over this place, and you can easily pick out because they're wearing like jumpsuits that look metallic and have this weird kind of sheen to them of like these rainbowy colors when they move. It's made to protect them from space and from all the stuff happening because of the black hole and things like that.
Okay. I think I'm just going to run up to one of these folks, whoever's closest, literally not putting anything on, not trying to come off shady, I guess, just literally just kind of open hands like, hey, hi, have you been over this way for a while?
Yeah, I've lived here nigh on almost 7 years now.
Oh, wow. Great.
Yeah.
So you know the area.
It's a space station. Yeah, I know the space station.
All right. Hey, I'm sorry to bother. I just sort of trying to catch up with some folks. Have you heard all the drama happening in Enola?
You mean that it ended?
Yeah, it sure did.
We're backwater, but we ain't that backwater. We heard about the entire planet being taken over.
Yeah. Well, there were others that got out, and I think some of them made their way here, and I'm trying to reconnect. I've got my ID, I've got my credentials. Like I'm not, I'm just hoping to find anyone that might have spotted any other ships like mine. I mean, I know there's kind of a lot, but I assume the folks I'm looking for wouldn't have just come to the main strip here. So I don't know, any information you could give me, if there's any spots, any other levels specifically that any of this same kind of style of Mercury might have gone, that would help me a lot.
They kind of look at you, size you up, and I'm going to have you roll Manipulate a Being. So you're going to roll plus Savvy. So when you manipulate an NPC to get what you want within reason, on a 10+, they will do what you want for the time being. On a 7 to 9, they will do it for a price, and the GM gets to pick 2.
Okay, here we go with a -1 apparently.
Don't forget to add any skills if you have them. That can help.
I doubt that I do, because I sure don't want to shoot or fight this guy.
All right.
Against all odds, that's still an 8.
All right. So for 7 to 9, I get to pick 2 prices, and there's a list there. They will help you if you give them something now that's worth it, and if you reveal your real agenda to them.
Oof. All right. I think I just see their skeptical look, and I wilt, like genuinely just wilt. And I point over at our ship and I say, hey, look, man, it's wild that I even get to be a part of that crew, but we have extra quarters If you need a trip somewhere, anytime, no questions asked, you can call me and I will provide that for you. Just the people that left, they abandoned us. They abandoned the army and they fled. And I'm not here to kill anybody. I'm not here to cause violence, but I am here to get an answer. So if you could help me, it would mean the world.
It takes a bit of a breath. I can respect that. I've had people bail out on their responsibilities more than a few times in my life, so you deserve answers for whatever they did and why ever they left, especially with what I heard about Enola's End. I'm sorry about that.
Thank you.
My name's Rakura.
I shake their hand.
Yeah, like that. Good, like hard, like blue-collar working person handshake, and you can see that you got their trust. You can tell that they've probably heard a lot of bullshit in their job with people wanting stuff.
Yeah.
And like the minute you kind of were like, this is what I'm really doing, they were like, I can respect that. Cool. Well, it's a mite strange, which is the only reason I noticed it. But there's actually 3 of these Mercury ships up in the repair dock right now. They don't really get repaired, which is why it's strange that they're in the repair dock. Most of the time, having them sail out to the Singularity and getting a good meal in their bellies, that's usually enough to make them right. But it's strange that there's 3 of them being kept inside up there. They got some sort of fancy group, which I assume is probably those that you're looking for, that are wandering about on the station. I'm sure they're being kept up in the nicest accommodations from looking at, their clothing that I saw.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you. Oh, brilliant. Somewhere for cover. I mean, all of those ships took heavy damage. They might actually need a light touch. Huh. Hey, thank you. Anytime. Achilles Hearth. It's a pleasure.
Good luck, Achilles. And I'll definitely be in touch with you if I need a lift out of here.
I look forward to it. And I turn and kind of just look up the length of this station. Oh, geez. And I'll make my way back to the other 2.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got over here?
So what information did you get?
I was trying to get the information of what areas were like dead, what might be stopping a signal from being received or coming back out.
To get kind of like the reading of the station, there's a lot of maybe not criminal, but definitely shady things happening on this station fairly regularly. So there's not like one part that's locked down or like one part that's off the grid, as it were. But you do get a readout. There are definitely a few different loading docks and things like that are for multiple types of ships that are currently not in operation. Although you kind of have a feeling, you're like, that's a lot of loading docks to not be working on a space station that most of its job is to have loading docks. That's strange. And then there's also like parts of kind of the more seedy section of like the residential living area and touristy trap areas that are like, oh, this is an empty, restaurant. Nothing's there. You're like, that's funny. That's like the most busy area of the space mall. Things like that are just kind of like, huh. And then there are some places that you're like, empty apartments, things like that. So it's kind of a smattering of a lot of different things.
It's very unusual. I am getting a good deal of areas that are reading as dead to information coming in or out. But for example, that restaurant right there says that it is one. I see people going in and out. It is not inactive.
Are there any spots like that near the repair bays?
Are there?
There are. Yeah, there's a couple.
Yes.
Oh, man. Everyone's up to something.
Yeah. I was talking with some folks and I get an idea of maybe why 317 was kind of a buzz and couldn't find who they were trying to talk to, right? There were some other Mercury ships up in the repair bay. I mean, I know we have to do minor stuff, but like it's weird that they would take 3 ships fully in. Like if there are dark spots up there, that might be where they're hiding someone or something.
Yes, that is an illogical course of action. These ships need to be fed and have access to sunlight to repair. You do not need to put them into a loading bay.
Unless they're hiding a bunch of treasure, and you don't want anyone to see you unload it.
Yes, you had mentioned that everyone is up to something. Blitz, what are you up to?
Yeah, Blitz, what are you up to?
I'm up to getting some treasure.
Ah, so more so up to doing an activity than up to nefarious things behind closed doors.
Well, I mean, depends on the perspective. I'm sure whoever's hiding this treasure isn't going to think that this isn't nefarious once I get my hands on it.
I'm up to 6 foot tall.
Yeah, you are.
So would you tell everyone?
Yes. And then the ladybug moves to the top of my head. Now 6'2".
I pat him on the shoulder. I'm jealous of that. I'm like 5'6", just like looking up.
The little ladybug on your head says, "They are inside? Mercury's should not be inside."
I jump a little bit. I forgot about that. I forgot you could do that.
Ship's got to fly. Let's go let them out.
Yes, let's start heading towards an elevator or space stairs.
Escalator.
An escalator.
Do not take the stairs. Do not take the stairs. We'll be here the whole episode with just you on stairs.
The floor teleporters.
Yeah, so they've got these like kind of the equivalent of like super elevators. They kind of look like bullet trains, except they go like straight up the side of the space station. And they have like multiple levels too. So like if you put a train vertical, so if you're on multiple levels of the ship, then you can get in one of the lifts that are different cars basically on the bullet train up the space station, and then exit up wherever you're supposed to go, and then it'll go back down. So
I'm holding on. If there's any sort of like hand bar, just anything, I'm just holding on for dear life. I don't like it. I don't like it.
There's definitely a bunch of places to hold on.
What does that look? Don't look at me like that.
I wonder how far these things could get if we could get them off the tracks.
If you could get it clear of the station's gravitational pull, it would theoretically go on forever, as long as it didn't collide with something.
Cool. I guess I don't have to wonder anymore.
Yes.
Did you guys know before we left Enola that I'd only been off planet once?
What?
Yep.
You have not nearly had enough time to acclimate to space travel.
Mm-mm. The space travel's kind of fine because you can't really see what's going on, but they just did some glass panels here. You can just see everything. Oh, boy.
I had always assumed that when you found myself in 317, you had been scavenging for many years. You seemed very adept.
Thank you. I worked on a lot of ships and things and repaired stuff. But hadn't been up on one. Well, once when I was a kid for a couple hours.
Well, next time we get up in the sky, I'll get you through some loops and you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Blitz.
Yes, I will say that for one of your first outings, a Mercury vessel is premium choice.
I kind of thought that too. Oh, thank God, as it stops eventually and I spill out.
You had that weird, like, elevator stomach if you've ever been in, like, a really fast elevator, like the Empire State Building or something like that. And you're just, like, you can feel, like, the bottom dropping out of your stomach. That was it, except just, like, to the extreme, Achilles. Achilles, it sounds like you are connecting and being vulnerable with your crewmates. So when you make a personal connection by being vulnerable, spend a trust, and together you kind of create what happens. You've done that already. This move can be used after the fact, too. Afterwards, if they feel like you grew closer, you earn that trust back and you both clear a condition. If they feel you revealed a significant truth, you can double that. So why don't we go with, let's go with Blitz. How do you feel about Achilles' information that they shared in the elevator about having never been off planet except one time before?
I feel like it's embarrassing for him. Like, I would be embarrassed about not having been off planet, but like having been on the ground so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's particularly like, oh, you're so brave for saying that. But it's like, personally, I'm excited because I get to introduce you to the skies, so to speak.
All right. Nice.
Cool.
So you do feel you grew a little bit closer. All right, so both of you get to clear a condition, and you get your trust back, Achilles. So it's kind of like, you can, if you're going to do it ahead of time, you can it's kind of like a wager situation.
Yeah.
And if you do it after the fact, then you spend it, and then you just see how they felt.
Awesome.
All right. So you just kind of stumbled out of this elevator after making a sort of embarrassing confession about your inexperience, and also kind of feeling a little woozy, probably.
I think I'm getting rid of my insecure. Not because I'm not still insecure, but because I just feel better about having admitted that. I'm like, all right, they didn't like fire me. They didn't tell me to get out. So that's a step.
And
Nice.
I'm going to get rid of selfish, even though I did very much make his confession about me. I did it in a way that was like, I get to now do something for you.
Yeah, it was generous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in a way.
It was still definitely about me,
Yeah.
but
Awesome. All right. So yeah, you step out onto this kind of platform. This obviously does not have the polish of other areas that you passed. Very utilitarian. Instead of having like nice smooth angles on stuff, it's very just like raw metal, no paint, none of that stuff. And a bunch of people getting off the lift here are like in work clothes, a bunch of stuff. Like you can tell that they are here to do a job, and they're kind of like looking at you like, what are you doing here? But none of them are saying anything or challenging you. They don't really care. It's just a little weird that the three of you are here, especially you, Parlay. They're kind of like double looking at you.
I'm giving like up nods and like, hey, what's up? To like every single one that makes eye contact with me.
They kind of like slow down a little bit on their walk. Hey, good morning. What are you up to? Hi. What like none of the...
I slow down like to start a conversation. I have to get like pulled back into the pathway.
Yeah.
Not by me, I'm observing.
Just standing there, 6 foot tall, just like watching.
Is this how your mating ritual begins?
I just can give a deep sigh. Not anymore, chaperone.
Yeah, they definitely give like a weird look when Parlay says that. And like, well, bye. Keep walking.
All right, what's the angle that we're looking at here? We're going to just try to tiptoe around, peek in where we can.
Is there like a vent or something that I could try and like crawl through?
Yeah, there's vents all over the place. There's also just doors. Like, it seems so far that, like, there's...
That's what they expect, though. If I'm trying to, like, oversee, like, conversations or somebody's, like, hiding a big bunch of treasure, I don't want them to know that I know where it is.
Okay. Where you're at right now, near the elevators, you're going to have to go a little bit farther in before you find areas that might be, like, locked or more clandestine. Like,
gotcha.
you can climb into
Fair,
a vent
fair,
here,
fair.
but you're going to be crawling in the vent for probably a ways, and you may not know which way to go.
We're just on the comms like, we're 4 blocks ahead of you. What, do you want us to wait? What do you want?
I'm just like, vent is so much smaller than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, no, I'll definitely wait until we get closer then.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great notion. You might just not want to do it quite yet.
Was not thinking in the visual space of where we were at all.
No, it's okay. Yeah, so fairly big space station. And there's a bunch of different companies that are doing like repair work here. They kind of specialize in different ships. Again, it's very strange. Most living ships don't like get repairs, as it were. Most of the time they're outside, and then like they have like the equivalent of like veterinarians who go out and specialize in those ships and go to them. Yeah, so there's a bunch of people walking around. Like, there's, like, this massive, like, industrial, like, corridor. It's made for big repair pieces of equipment, like cranes and all these different things to drive down. And it's just, like, a flood of people coming in and out constantly. And then on the sides of this corridor are the different companies and the different, like, basically hangar bays where they'd pull in these ships from the outside. So this is, like, the human access, or, like, being access, and then from the outside are like the big giant like airlock doors so that they bring the ships in through.
Okay. As we're strolling through all of this, seeing the people coming and going, is there any chance I'm noticing anyone like sticking to an area, like trying to like play casual while maintaining, I don't know, like I'm looking for people that might be like walking a perimeter or like staying nearer to a door as like incognito guards or anything like that?
Sure. I'm going to have you, I'm actually going to have you roll access knowledge too, because you're going to use your knowledge to kind of overcome the obstacle and find like this information. So you're going to roll plus brains. And I'm actually going to say, for this one, you can probably add your fighting or shooting.
I was going to pitch shooting in a weird way as like, this is almost me picking a target. While I'm not, necessarily looking for violence, I'm still looking for what is the person that is a danger, in that vein.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. You're
cool.
also probably looking for like signs of Andorian culture. So you're like might be looking like if someone's carrying a weapon or a knife or something like that, or has military boots or something like that. That might be something that could play into.
Awesome. All right.
Not that it's my job to justify it for you, but
Woo, I'm glad I invoked that because that put me at a 7.
you give one crewmate +1 and another one -1 on their next action.
Okay, I think there is that level of I find what I'm looking for. I see somebody with like just the right boots, that I'm like, I know those, like that's maybe some of the other pilots or like one of the other guards that stay close to the royals, sticking near one of these kind of side buildings, like not even one of the big hangars, but it's like maybe they put the ships there and then they ushered these people out and elsewhere. But I think me like turning, I think I'm talking to Parlay first, where I'm like, hey, come here, and am trying to point that out. So you're going to have a +1 because you caught it, like you followed me over quickly as we kind of ducked to look. But I think Blitz was up nodding some people and throwing some winks, and that person that I spotted spots her and just recognizes like, isn't that one of our pilots?
So with that -1, I still haven't rolled anything from when I got the +1 from Parlay. So does that put me at a flat roll next time I roll?
Yeah, for just now, those two will negate each other out.
Okay.
And as I'm like whispering this, like thinking that I'm whispering to both of them as I've kind of, gone off of the main thoroughfare, and I realize that Blitz isn't there, and I'm just like, Blitz, come here.
Oh, right. Hi. Did you find it?
Maybe right down there on the left side. See that guy that sees you?
Yeah, they're definitely like, can see him wave the other one over, and they're both kind of like peering, like pointing, like, what is that? Do you think that's really them? Like when people see a celebrity but they're not sure.
Yeah.
I kind of like put up my hand like, yes, like it's me.
Those are Nolan guards, like the royals.
Oh, you think they have it?
Whatever it or they are, yes, I think they have it. Because what are they doing here? Three Mercury ships that were heavily damaged. It was 4 ships that left or tried to leave.
They've already seen you. Perhaps use your celebrity to talk your way in.
I'd love to.
Maybe they'll rehire you, but don't really work for them.
I wasn't fired. I left.
They left.
They left. That's true.
Did they pay you?
Man! Well, they're gonna when I get this treasure. They might not know it, but they're gonna. I'll give these 2 finger guns and kind of just roll around the corner and head back towards those guards.
When you roll around the corner, you literally like almost walk into one.
Oh, hi.
Hello. Are you?
Yes.
Wow. What are you doing here? I mean, we were so thankful for all you did. A bunch of us wouldn't. I mean, we wouldn't even be here today if it weren't for you. Thank you. Can I have your autograph?
I just have my face in my hands right around the corner.
Yeah, I would, but I only sign with a green pen, and I don't have one on me right now.
Oh,
because other people will try and like forge my signature and like sell it on the space black market, and
yeah,
just like if I was to give it to you, I'd want you to make sure that it was obviously my signature. But do you have one?
Green pen? No. I was just I have my flight communicator in my pocket. I just thought you could sign it for me as like good luck. But yeah, you have standards. I get it. Okay.
I just want, I don't want anybody to accuse you of lying if you show them that you have my autograph.
No, you're right. You're right. Are you going to be around? I could try and find a green pen. Like, there's got to be somewhere on this big old station,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hanging around for a while, fueling up my ship, fueling up myself.
Yeah. Maybe we could hang out later. Maybe.
Sure. What are you up to right now?
Technically, I'm supposed to be working, but anyone forgive me for coming and talking to you. I mean, they probably all want to talk to you after that maneuver you pulled that let us get out of Dodge. That was amazing.
Yeah, how much of it did you see?
I mean, I didn't get to see most of it because I was guarding on the inside of the ship, but everyone told me about it, and it just sounds amazing, and you seem amazing, and there's just like a lot of but yeah, I'm working right now.
Well, you guys got out in Mercury's, right?
Yeah, I'm not supposed to talk about it, but you already know. I mean, you were there at the end, but like we lost one of them, but luckily it was just carrying most of their luggage. So we've got 3 of them here actually.
Cool. Well, the ship that I was flying has a console that's really similar. If you wanted to take me back to the Mercuries you have here, I could give you a little bit of a recreation of how it all went down firsthand.
Yeah. So at this point, you're asking a little bit more of them than they're just going to like freely give. So if you want to get even more information from them, you should probably read a being. So when you read a being or social situation for information, you roll plus heart. And then you can pick from the list if you succeed.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Do you have any skills that could help?
Boy, it does not matter. That's a 3.
Okay. This is actually a great opportunity to try Got Your Back.
Oh.
So Got Your Back is another kind of after the fact help roll. So to step in and help a crewmate who's rolled badly, you need to get their consent first, because sometimes people enjoy their terrible moments. But then you spend 1 trust and describe what you do. You get to roll 1d6, and it replaces their lowest die, whether it makes it better or worse.
I think I've got something I could do to help out.
I would love some help in this situation. Thank you.
Yeah, so I will step around the corner. Blitz, our ship seems unfamiliar with the territory. There is an opportunity for it to learn from other Mercuries. It would be very beneficial if you could... Oh, hello. How are you, sir?
Hi. I didn't know you were here with someone. Awkward.
Yeah. No, I'm not. This is Parlay, and he's the ship's babysitter.
Yes, it is not awkward. I have not yet learned how to be a sexual being.
Oh, no, I wasn't. No, I mean, it wasn't like that. I mean, okay. Yeah. All right. So you roll 1d6, and it replaces her lowest die in her roll. Whatever.
I rolled snake eyes, so you just have to beat a 1.
4.
Okay, so that makes it a 5. Now, can I add a couple of skills here? Could I add
1 skill?
Oh, I can only add 1?
Yeah.
Oh, so then it doesn't matter, because that could only bring me up to a 6.
Oh, no.
If you didn't help or it made things worse, you did help. So you improved things a little bit. So you get your trust back, Parlay.
Okay.
But you didn't bump them to a higher success band. So just wait there. Suddenly you see like this kind of like crestfallen look on his face, and he's a little bit like suspicious. Yeah, I'm familiar with the Parlay units, but it's really strange for them to be out walking around like this. Usually they don't. Is this some sort of change in programming that you've made?
He's due for an upgrade.
How dare you?
Oh, this
All
seems
right.
like a...
Oh, no. It's my red flag.
Oh, no! That's one of your seeing reds?
Yeah.
Oh, no!
Because I specifically talked about in our character creation how the upgrade is the sign of...
I remember that, but I was thinking that was why it would be a good excuse. I wasn't thinking of...
treats you like an object or points out how different you are.
All right.
So what do I need to do when I see red?
So you either confront, connect, or act out, or if you don't want to do any of those things, then you can choose to just mark 2 conditions and like keep it quiet in yourself.
I think I have to confront because
I think
that was
you
my
already
reaction.
did.
Yeah.
All right. To confront a crewmate. Tell a crewmate what they've done wrong by you and what you want from them to make it right. Mark a condition and describe how your feelings influence your approach. Together, you create what happens.
That's simply not true. I have been update free for 3 years now. You explained to this nice young potential mating partner of yours
Oh my God.
that I do not need an update, nor do any of my current models need updates. And I think I'm gonna mark, I think disdainful.
Okay, amazing. And there's not a die roll for this, so this is literally just you 2 deciding what you want the scene to happen. So you can describe it or you can act it out, which I feel like is more your vibe.
Right. No, that's right. I was thinking of some of the systems in the medical kits that needed to be upgraded.
Ah.
Not you.
I see.
Mixed up the upgrades because we were just talking about how you don't need an upgrade.
Yes.
So that's where the connection happened in my head. Apologies.
That is understandable. At times I do use implements from our paltry medical supplies. They are widely underused, under-updated, undersupplied.
All right, so it sounds like you came to a consensus. Do you both agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So you confronted, Blitz, you mark a condition and you earn a trust. And Parlay, you earn a trust and clear a condition. It can be the one you just marked or a different one.
I'll mark guilty, and that'll put my savvy at a -1. It crashes it.
Oh. All right.
I will get rid of disdainful. So when you have run this game, does that happen a lot? Do the seeing red moments happen on accident?
Yeah, that's exactly the design.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and so they just kind of, and it always pops up at like the least, the moment you don't want it to happen. And generally what happens like that is like a lot of times while people are like creating the scene, they do it again, just like what happens. So it's still kind of like is wrapped into the same one. And it's basically like we talked about like them like digging their own hole while you're still in the same move, basically.
Yeah.
So you don't do it every single time they say it in the same conversation.
Yeah, so he's out walking around because he doesn't need an upgrade. Like, he's so top of the line still that he can go out and gather more information to help bolster the ship.
That's right, 3 years.
That's great. I'm going to go. Yeah, it was really nice meeting you. I will be in touch if I find a green pen. Like, looking super weirded out, like, this Parlay unit's having an argument with the pilot and they're walking. What is happening? Like, it just like spins and like, haha, bye. Okay. Like awkwardly, like gets away as quickly as possible.
So as Parlay like steps out to talk, I think I want to just have taken like 4 or 5 steps straight back and just turned into the flow of the people walking past.
Okay.
And my attempt here is to just get in that flow, walking past the door where I saw this guy come from that they're talking to now. I know there were a couple over there, but with maybe less of them by that door and me like lost in this crowd, I just really want to try to time it so that I can slink through that door unnoticed.
Yeah. All right. That would probably be a prove your worth roll, which is going to be plus courage.
Okay, here we go.
So for prove your worth, because it's taking a lot of guts to like walk by yourself, like with these enemies of yours. So to take action in a high pressure situation, you roll plus courage. And then there's a 10 plus, you do it without any difficulty and you give advantage to a crewmate. And then 7 to 9, you succeed, but with some difficulty. And then you get to pick.
All right. That is a 10.
All right. So you do it without difficulty and you get to give advantage to a crewmate.
I think because she was the focus of who these guys were dealing with and who they were distracted by, that it's going to go to Blitz. I think part of that is like whoever is left near the door is like really interested in what is going on down the way there, and they're like trying to listen and they're paying more attention to that. So that's kind of what gave me my moment. So just their attention on her is going to give her a +1 to whatever she wants to do next. Yeah,
absolutely. Perfect. All right. And so you're like walking kind of like a salmon in this stream. Like, I guess salmon go the opposite way. Never mind. You're kind of going with the flow of traffic on this walkway. And is your intent to just get information about them or to try and slip past them?
If I can, I would like to try to slip past them.
Okay, yeah, and a 10 plus, you absolutely can. Like, there's this moment where you just happen to time it perfectly where just as that conversation ended and this, like, rather flustered, disappointed, kind of weirded out guard, like, gets back to the doors, like, you're never going to guess what just happened to me. I was talking to and all like it just like goes into this story and all the guards like turn, like, did you get the autograph? Did you do the thing? And they're all just for a moment kind of turn just as someone comes out of the door, like from doing the work in that giant hangar. So the doors are open for like just a split second. They're like the futuristic, like split doors.
Nice. Yeah. I just like dart through and roll around the side of where the door is open and just spring up, slinking along the wall inside. I think it's just for this first moment, just trying to find a spot to stay low out of view of anyone that might be inside this building.
Yeah, absolutely. You're in there and you hear that shh, and the doors slide closed behind you.
Yeah, I just take a breath and I want to look around in here and see what is going on.
Yeah. So it's actually a pretty boring repair hangar. It's actually made for really big cargo ships. So you do see the three Mercury beings inside, and they actually seem sort of small compared to this giant space. But it's sort of like when you see like turtle pets in a big, glass aquarium that just it's not big enough for them to live in, but they can move around a little bit. So they're kind of to kind of huddled together in the middle, and you can kind of hear them buzzing. And you've been around 317 enough that you kind of know that this is just conversation, but you've never heard 317 make tones like this before. They seem almost afraid, just kind of reading off of that. And they're just kind of buzzing together in the center. The rest of it, there's big cranes and things like that to work on these giant ships, and there's boxes and pieces of parts, and there's stuff just sitting around everywhere around the edges of this large hangar.
Okay, I'm staying low, just, behind some whatever. There's crates and things, just whatever the materials are in this place, and I'm going to get back on my comm real quick. All right, guys, I'm in. There's something weird going on with the Mercuries. I don't really understand them as well as either of you, but they seem, I don't know, they seem in some kind of a huff.
You hear through the comm, there are three of them? You see with your eyes the three? Three?
Yeah, absolutely. The three that left Enola.
Yes. What are their names? Do they have names?
Oh, that's a good question. Would I have known? I assume that I was a ground troop, leading some of the, just some of those operations. I don't know that I would have known, actually. I probably only just learned 317.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't.
Yeah, so I think, you just hear this kind of a weak, oh, no, I don't know their names. I'm sorry. They seem upset. They're huddled together. They sound agitated, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Does that behavior sound familiar from these kinds of ships? Is that something to be on the lookout for, or?
You would know as a parlay unit that yes, these are living beings. They can be afraid. The three of them, they are kind of, for lack of a better term, pod animals. So they do kind of, they're used to flying in formation and being together. It's been so long since any of them have actually been in the wild. There's no nobody knows exactly what it was like. But them being huddled together for protection and safety seems normal. But it takes a lot for them to get scared. And as a parlay unit, they'd probably be very scared just being completely enclosed like this. They're cut off from speaking with the other Mercury beings outside. They're cut off from talking to only each other, which is really strange for them to just be able to speak with three of them. And it seems a little strange that they'd be locked in like this. This isn't good care and feeding practices for Mercury beings in any way.
Achilles, do you see any way to open the bay docks? This behavior is not unusual from them, but being cut off from others of their kind, being unable to communicate, is very jarring to their system.
I mean, I can sure try, but there's a lot of just movement in here. I don't think I could get around and open something. I mean, I might be able to open it without being spotted, but, here's a thought. Maybe to even get you guys in here. 317. Just a regular bullet out of, my gun wouldn't hurt you at all, right?
No, not in my normal state. I don't know about this current one. Why would you shoot me?
Not you, but maybe if I pinged one of them, would it startle them enough to release the ink?
Oh.
I mean, these living ships are sensitive beings. I don't think you actually have to shoot them to scare them. I think if you just shoot near them, the sound could be enough to scare them into this if we boost it a bit. Can I try to use the assist move here?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. So to help a crewmate before they take action, use your Technobabble bonus, with an applicable specialty, and they get the +1 instead of you. So Technobabble is a bonus you can do once a scene where you describe an action using complicated technical vocabulary from one of your specialties. And you get a +1 usually, but this basically lets you transfer that to another person. There's like a little handy dandy table if you want, because I'm the worst at coming up with it. But this is like that moment in like Star Trek where it's like, if you decouple the microscopic grid, then it will pulse the nebula or whatever
This
it is.
table is amazing.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Thank you.
The way that it's set up is an action, so an if-I statement, a description, the device, and then the effect. So it could, will, or might cause. So I want to look for like a panel or something outside this hangar and say, if I boost the emergency sensor, it might cause resynchronized feedback.
Yeah, that's great. Do that.
Yes, the sound of the gunshot would absolutely set off the sensor if it was set far too high.
And I'll use my tactical skill for this to add +1 to their roll.
So this is going to be another prove your worth roll, because you're doing something exciting, and also, you don't know, you're in a giant hangar with 3 mercury beings who might be a little scared and stampeding or something. It takes a lot of courage to do that. So go ahead and roll prove your worth again with the +1.
Okay. I also am using my gun, so can I include shooting?
Absolutely. So it's a +2 with the bonus and your skill.
All right.
And also, like, you're not aiming to hit them, so we're mostly rolling to see what's going to happen, like with the sound.
With a +3, that got me to an 8.
Oh, okay. Good thing you got the pluses.
Yep, rough roll there.
All right, so at 7 to 9, you succeed, but with some difficulty. And then there's a pick list there, so you get to pick which one was the difficulty. You are injured or emotionally shaken. You mark a condition. You put a crewmate in a bad position. Or you damage or destroy something important.
Oh, I hate to do this. I think because of what Blitz is doing, to affect these, sort of technical but definitely living beasts, I think something about that messes with Parlay's sensors as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You put a crewmate in a bad position. So what's happening, Parlay, is you have 317, the little bug, like sitting on your head still, like very excited, tuned into what's happening. When this gunshot goes off and is like echoing and the sound of it's increased so much by Blitz, it ends up kind of reverberating through the station. And more than that, the 3 mercury beings inside end up like sounding these like fearful calls that are like this high-pitched buzzing sound kind of combined with that low, like long range. It's like a kind of almost a warning for other mercury beings, like something dangerous, something scary. And it reverberates throughout the station. And then you, Parlay, can hear and sense that all the other mercury beings in the area have also been affected by this and are kind of like, if you've ever seen a horse kind of stomping around in its stall, like trying to get out, or like the ones who are out kind of like start, and wow, they ink, the ones in this hangar ink everywhere.
Journey among the stars with your crew and ship, bonding through adversity and becoming a found family in Starscape by Golden Lasso Games. Inspired by shows like Star Trek, Cowboy Bebop, and Battlestar Galactica, this sci-fi PBTA game is available on Kickstarter now until August 8th. Go to goldenlassogames.com/Starscape to learn more.